It's Anamari Fanthorpe, and I'll be your host today here on Digital Boost, where we learn it so we can do it and boost it. Now, today we have a special guest. We're diving deep again into those AI tools. We're talking about how to cheat at social media using free AI tools with Kathryn from the Meaningful Marketing Company. And it's going to be a fun, jam-packed session with lots of information. I've opened up the chats. So if you move your mouse around, you'll be able to see that chat function. You can chat with myself and Kathryn there. I'll be monitoring that though. And I'll also be taking care of the chats across all of the social media channels. So if you're joining us on one of those, welcome, kia ora, and feel free to drop any questions or comments that you have into those functions, and I'll be pulling them through to Zoom. So this is being recorded. If you're here with us on Zoom, then you'll be able to get this recording later in your email, and you can also find it on the website. And I would encourage you folks who are out there sitting on social media, just watching these sessions every Tuesday. There's heaps of bite-sized content on digital media, on Digital Boost. And we also have our checkable tool, which you can pop all of your information. I don't know if you know even this, Kathryn, but we have a tool called Checkable, and it allows you to drop your website in there, and it runs a full diagnostic on it and will help you to know where to get started to do some upgrades and get yourself noticed online. So thank you so much, Kathryn, for taking the time to talk about this hot topic with us here today on Digital Boost.
Great. Well, thank you for that, Anamari, and welcome everybody. I can't see you, but I'm assuming you're all there. I'll just share my screen and let's get started.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and drop off my camera. I'll make sure your share screen works first and get all those chats worked up and running. Perfect. Looks great.
Okay, well, morena everybody, and welcome along to this session on how to cheat at social media using free AI tools. I know there are a few of you signed up, and I'm assuming you're here because when you think about social media marketing, quite often you feel like this. You don't know where to start, and it's a little bit frustrating. The objective of this session is to show you some really easy ways to use free AI tools in your social media marketing, and I'm hoping that by the time the session finished, you will have gone from there to there, such is your keenness to get going. So today we will cover off the quickest of overviews about how AI works, look at why we can use AI tools in our marketing and different ways that we can use them. One thing that's really critical is that you want to not sound like your social media posts have been written by a robot or by AI. So I've got some tips on how to use it without sounding like that. And then we'll take a look at some of the tools that I enjoy using the most often. And we'll finish up with a Q&A.
Hey, Kathryn, just a quick thing. Are you on ear pods or are you on your computer mic or?
I'm on my computer mic. Is it?
It's kind of fluctuating a little bit, going in and out. I don't know if you have a headset that you could pop on. That would be wonderful, just so we don't miss any of the goodness. Yeah, sorry, folks. We just jumped on real quick just before, and yeah, I didn't notice it to be so bad, but we are getting a few comments here. So we'll just.
Sorry, I would have untangled it if I'd known.
Sorry about that, Kathryn. Folks, by the way, I do have the transcript all loaded up there. If you'd like that as an audio assist, you can also use that. Just feel free to move your mouse around and you'll see that there's a show captions kind of feature, or it'll have a CC, and that'll allow for you to have the words down at the bottom of the screen as well. So if that will assist you, please check that out. Across social media, it should be pulling through captions. So you should be all set to go. Yeah, just bear with us, folks. Thanks so much. And sorry about that, Kathryn. My bad. No. It's pretty good when I was chatting with you just briefly before the session. So
let me. Is that any better now?
Yeah, it is a bit. Maybe just say a few more words. We'll get a bit of better idea.
Let me see if that's sounding any better.
Yeah. Did you change it to your headphones on your computer or you just plug them in?
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to do the setup now.
Yeah, just if you go to your system preferences and then go to your audio, you should be able to just make sure that it's pulling through the mic on your headphones. Look, we love a tech issue here. I'll tell you what, it's never a dull moment here on Digital Booths, folks. Like, after doing 450 or 500 of these, I can tell you we've had many a situation.
Testing now.
Yeah, it still sounds like it's pulling from your computer, to be honest.
It's okay. So I've got my audio settings up. It's looking okay at my end, but it's
not great yet. Yeah.
No, I'm hearing a delay. Hang on, let me just try a different speaker. Pull it out.
Yeah, it's all good. Sorry about that, Kathryn.
How's this? Is this sounding any better?
Actually, it does. When you lean in, it's actually quite good. It's when you're bopping back and forth kind of that it starts to cut in and out. I would just say, yeah. Folks, turn up your sound and access the transcript. It sounds pretty good to me, but yeah, if you're having trouble, get the audio assist with the transcript and that'll help out. So I say we carry on. Let's do it.
When I'm testing, I hear my own voice about 5 seconds later. So I just, hopefully that is a one-off. See, I can't hear it now. So is this sounding okay to you guys?
It sounds okay to me, to be honest. I do have to go all the way up. So which is fine. Yep, sounds good. Okay, we've got a one okay, so let's roll.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I hope this is clearer for everybody. That was it. We've covered off what we're going to do today. I'd love to hear in the chat just quickly, have you guys tested any AI or had any experience trying to use AI? If you just want to pop in the chat if you have and what you've been using. Okay, there's a lot of chat GPT, which is great because that's something that we'll be looking at. And there's a few that I haven't heard of, so great. Okay, so let's crack on. Where are my manners? Just before we get started, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kathryn McGarvey and I run the Meaningful Marketing Company based in Napier, where it looks like it's finally stopped raining. If any of you guys have been affected by Cyclone Gabrielle or some of the other storms that we have had recently, you have my utmost sympathy. It's not the best of times. I'm a marketing strategist. I like to help people get more customers without feeling like they're selling their soul with their marketing. And I've been a marketer for so long that just to give you some perspective, I started marketing when we called mobile cell phones and you only ever used them to text because phone calls were too expensive. And they were flip phones. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of the scope of how long I've been doing this. Again, just quickly in the chat, because I'd like to use some examples later on, but I'd love to see a few people, or as many of you as possible, to put in what is it that you do. So what do you sell and what is it that you do? Okay, we've got some digital advertising. It sounds like the sound is hopefully not for everybody really bad. Oh, I know who that is. Promotional products, small catering business, IBS therapy, organic loose leaf tea. Great, so there's clearly quite a broad spectrum of Anamari, just Do you think we need to re-look at the sound situation? It sounds like there's quite a few people still having issues.
Yeah, it is really, it sounds like you're in a tunnel, to be honest. It just sounds like you're, I don't know, like underwater, and I'm not sure what that is. I've had a look at my systems on my side thinking, oh, possibly it's me, but everything seems to be going at the correct caliber over here. So
okay. There is another sound setting in my computer that I can use, but that's clearly not made any difference.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure where to go with the headphone. It was interesting because the headphones actually sounded exactly the same as your computer. So I'm not sure why that is. Sorry, folks.
Try one more thing. I've got different heads.
Can you folks just clarify that my sound sounds okay? Because if it's okay, yeah. So it does sound like it is coming from your end. I do have the transcripts turned on, so I'm kind of reading as I go, and that's been really good.
And this isn't any better. I've just used a different headset.
Yeah, it's just a really refracting sound. I mean,
I'll just shut my window in case it's street noise.
I would say it might be better for you to go out of Zoom, even though, and I will waffle on and then rejoin us and see if that works. Don't worry,
okay.
I can fill a gap. These guys know.
Okay. I'll be back soon.
Good at waffling on. So yeah, so we've had a lot of feedback about what's been going on. Sorry, folks. And if it gets too bad, we might just try and reschedule and see if we can't pop this in tomorrow or something, because yeah, it is very difficult to try and learn things when you can't hear somebody. And I appreciate that. We wanted to ask some of you folks whether or not, if you've been affected by the storms and it's been taking you to a place where you haven't been able to access the internet and you don't have your laptop or you don't have those kind of things, or if you know somebody who's been in that situation, what have they done in order to be able to maintain their business when they haven't had access to those tools? Because as a digital tools educator, it's really challenging when folks go, hey, I've got all this knowledge, or I've got my whole business online, but now I don't have access to online. So what have you done in order to kind of, support yourself, support your business, or any advice that you have about that would be really lovely. And I'd love to take that to the team and help to share it to the wider community. Because it has been there's a difference between COVID, where we couldn't go out, so we were kind of locked in, and then having this situation where a lot of folks weren't able to access their home or didn't have access. I had friends that didn't have internet or power for 10 days. And so, yeah, we'd love to hear any advice that you had if you were in that situation. Okay, so used inverters and was up and running. So they had a caravan. Okay, I know some people who just went and bought a caravan because their whole farm's underwater, and that was something that they were able to do, which is not, I guess, accessible for everybody. So yeah, it's been a challenging time for some folks, especially in that Hawke's Bay area, and in the where they couldn't even hotspot from their phone. So we'll be talking to the guys over at Wix as well. We're going to be doing a few workshops with the Wix team. And one of the comments that came through was about Wix and how they weren't able to modify some things on their website through the Wix mobile app. And so I'll be asking the guys over at Digital X Marketing if they have any solutions to some of those questions that happened. Very old fashioned, but we still print critical documents and data. Look, I think there's always a good mix between what I'd call analog and digital. I mean, I think we need to make tech work for us and not have it, work us, where we've got so many digital tools. And here on this platform, we talk about a lot of digital tools. And what I'd like to remind everybody is about every 4 to 6 months, take a look at your subscriptions, take a look at the digital tools that you're using, and just really evaluate whether or not those tools are working for you. Because a lot of times there's new things that have come around that could possibly be more efficient. And sometimes, we just have all these subscriptions that we're not actually using. So just be cautious of that, because that could be a bit of some expenses there that you're putting out that you could be fueling or funneling back into your business. So I have the chat setting a little bit different, Amy. So you can't really see everybody of what's happening. Things are coming through to me. Okay, so I upskilled using phone when I was unable to charge the laptop. So no one or two simple strategies means I am more flexible post cyclone. Yeah, exactly. I mean, getting resourceful is really good. We do understand that some people, no matter what, you can't make lemonade without lemons and water and sugar, eh? So, I mean, sometimes you just don't have the actual resources to be able to do things. All right. I'm glad to see Kathryn's joined us back on here. Let's hope the sound is a little bit better. I was saying to the folks here, look, if it gets to the point where we think, oh, it's not going to happen, let's try and reschedule, and really get this content out there if you're willing, because I think that this content's so now, isn't it? ChatGPT and AI tools are the now. And a lot of us are getting into it. I've got to say, I had my father-in-law's birthday over the weekend, and I used ChatGPT to write a cheeky poem for him, and it was pretty funny. So yeah, are you speaking now, or let's hear you. Oh, go ahead, Kathryn. Let's see if we can hear your sound. Or are you figuring it out? I'll keep waffling. Okay. Now, we did a session last week on ChatGPT. Give a thumbs up if you attended that session. And I'd love to see in the chat any of the uses that you have used over the weekend, over the past kind of almost week with ChatGPT. Have you had a go with it? Have you gotten the app on your computer? I love it for recipes. I love it for a lot of reasons. I use it for a lot of different things. But some of us are a little bit adverse to trying it out. But what I'd say is just give it a go. You don't have to, if you don't feel comfortable using it for your business, you don't have to. That's up to you. That's your. Okay, I can't hear you now. Sorry. Oh gosh. All right, we are under serious tech issues here, folks. Sorry. I'm not really sure how to fix you, Kathryn. I can't see what's going on your end. We were good with sound, and now you can't hear me, and I haven't heard you speak. Okay, so let's hear about some of these usages of ChatGPT after our general overview the other week. So Kat said, wrote some social post, helped write an intro for a website and an about page. So cool. Did you use the HTML kind of things as well to make sure that all of those were linked together? I'd love to know that, Kat. Yes, using it for tags and various marketing campaigns in our small business. Showed a friend who's another business owner, and ChatGPT is great. Now I'm going to change the chat so that you guys can all have a look at the comments that are going to start to come through here about people using the ChatGPT. I did have it set slightly different just because it can get into a bit of an ethical debate, it can get into a bit of passion, but we're just here for information. And I just want to make sure that everybody feels like they're in a safe space. So just keep that in mind as we go through this session. We're here to learn, and then what we do with that information is up to us. Oh, we've lost Kathryn again. I'll tell you what, this is the first time this has happened in 450, 500 of these sessions. So she's keeping me on my toes. Of course, Zoom is keeping us on our toes. So yeah, there's a first time for everything. Let's see. I didn't even have time to prep my Anamari's 5 hot tips for today. So we'll see if we can pull this off, and if not, I also wanted to let you guys know that I'm lining things up with a few folks. I'm lining things up with NZTE. I'm lining. So if you're looking at exporting, we're going to be talking about that. I'm lining things up with TikTok. TikTok's going to actually come on. They're going to do some sessions for us. And I'm lining things up because finance, I think, underpins all of our businesses. And often it's not sexy. It's not cool, but I chatted with Sam Harith last week, who puts the Fun in Finance, PhD in finance, and he's going to do some workshops for us. And they are going to be amazing. So get ready for those. They're going to be heaps of fun. Also, the Digital Boost team is going to come on, and we're going to do some kind of real community group training on our checkable tool and how to have a look at the actual reports that you can create. Oh, I think I've got sound from you. Go ahead and speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh my God, that was a mission.
Yeah. Okay. That's so much better. I mean, okay, maybe just say one more sentence. The brown cow now. How now, brown cow? And then
how now, brown cow?
Okay. Woo! We're here. Okay. All right. I will stop waffling. I will let you get into it, and I'll keep going on getting those chats open.
Thank you so much for taking over. All that was restarting and then messing around with my microphones, but let's crack on. So I'll just share.
Love the persistence.
Share screen.
Oh, that's so much better. Okay, great. I'm dropping off.
Okay, so let's not mess about. We got to there. How AI works. Oh, sorry, I'll put it on the slideshow. Do you know what? This is a really boring slide. If you want to find out how AI works, you can Google it or you can ask me later. But one thing that this quote gave me comfort from, this is an academic from the Institute of People-Centered AI. And I think it's really worth bearing in mind. He says, ChatGPT is a phrase predictor. So essentially, it's like, when you do a Google search and it comes up with auto predictions of what you're going to say, ChatGPT is like that on massive steroids. It's a system that has memorized 1 billion books so that it can guess what comes next. Everything it says is essentially a rehash of something that has been said before by a human. And despite it being called AI, artificial intelligence, it's not remotely intelligent. So why would we use AI tools? I want to really stress they're a tool. They're not going to solve any marketing problems, but they're a tool that can help you. AI saves thinking time. This is where I use it. Instead of that blank screen that we saw at the start of the presentation, what seems like 1 million years ago now, it helps you do some thinkings. One which I had to put in there because I feel like it deals with me directly, but AI is great as an excuse and a procrastination buster. So if you're thinking, I can't do social media posts because I don't know what to write about, or I don't know where to get started, or I'll do it tomorrow when it's easier, now you've run out of excuses. And AI is one of the things it's really brilliant at is being a creative Kickstarter. So get AI to draft something for you and then edit it, because it's always much easier to face a page that's got writing on it and rewrite it than to start from that blank page. But I really want to stress that you remain in control of what you publish. So what goes out into the world still needs to be under your control. And that's so important that I wanted to repeat it. Just quickly, some limitations to be aware of. So AI is not necessarily accurate. In fact, they can be confidently wrong. So you can see the example there of somebody testing ChatGPT, and he asked it about the diet in the 11th century England, which seems quite a niche topic, but potatoes didn't exist in the 16th century, and ChatGPT gave them an answer about potatoes. So it's not necessarily going to be accurate. In fact, it was last week or the week before, Google released a preview of its AI, its equivalent of ChatGPT called Bard, And in the press event, they showed an example, the question, what new discoveries from the James Webb Space Telescope can I tell my 9-year-old about? And rather embarrassingly for Google, that third point about it taking the very first pictures of a planet outside our solar system is wrong. So just be aware, accuracy isn't guaranteed when you're using AI. Another limitation is it's biased. The tools reflect the sources of information that they've learnt from. And, we all know that the internet has bias. I wanted to put some screenshots up. I myself had some reasonably sexist responses to some very bland questions when I was testing ChatGPT about marketing. That suggested that women were good for telling about how to use household products better. And anyway, we don't need to go there, but it can be biased, it can be sexist, and it can be, I've seen examples of horrendous racism, so just be aware of that too. Sorry, I'll slow down. I feel like I'm talking fast to try and catch up for lost time. Another limitation is the quality of your input is going to dictate the satisfactory nature of the response. So the more details you can plug into your question, the better response you're going to get. So for example, you could ask for a recipe for muffins, and they might give you the world's most popular recipe for muffins or the one that gets searched for the most, but that isn't necessarily going to be a satisfactory answer for you. When I did this, it came up with vanilla muffins. Who wants to make vanilla muffins? But if you give them more detail, like suggest a recipe for gluten and dairy-free muffins that will taste good to people who don't like chunks of fruit in their muffins, then you're going to get something that's more aligned with what you're looking for. AI does really not understand context, tone, or nuance. So quite often, sort of 95 times out of 100, the response that you're going to get is going to be flat, boring, and sometimes misses the mark. For example, yesterday I plugged in write 50 entertaining, and I'm going to stress that I did ask for entertaining and informative words about the importance of flossing for dental hygiene. Just a random question. If you read the response, it's certainly informative, but I don't know about you, I don't find it the slightest bit entertaining. And what I'm finding is when you do ask for something entertaining or light-hearted, ChatGPT in particular will often just put an exclamation mark after a boring sentence as if that makes it entertaining. So again, think about the tone and the nuance. It's quite often, mostly, out of place. I won't bother going through that one. AI can be a bit judgy. So when I was talking to Anamari about running this session for you, I was trying to think of names and what could be a good name to call the session. So I typed in, what's a great alternative title for a training session on how to use ChatGPT for marketing if the original title is how to cheat using free AI tools? And boy, did I get told off. It's not ethical or appropriate to use the word cheat in a training session title, or as it suggests unethical or deceptive methods in marketing. The alternative title that it came up with was Maximizing Marketing Efforts with AI, a guide to using sorry, I'm too bored to even read to the end of the sentence. I know I thought of it myself, but I feel like how to cheat at marketing is slightly more compelling. I'm not by any means suggesting that you use unethical or deceptive methods, but just watch out for a little bit of judgment. And AI really is not as funny as it thinks it is. And I present with no further comment 2 jokes that I asked them to tell yesterday. Like, I don't know, maybe AI is actually the mind of a 6-year-old boy or a 7-year-old. So those are some limitations to be aware of before you get started. I think this is probably the meat of what we're here for today, is how to use, what are different ways that you can use AI for social media. So facing that blank page or blinking cursor, as I said before, it's much easier to fix something that's already there, even if you have to completely rewrite it, than to start from scratch. So you can tap into your AI tool. Give me 5 ideas for posts about organic baby clothes. Chances are it's not going to come up with something satisfactory, but it's just enough of a prompt to get you going. Along similar lines, brainstorming ideas for posts. The other day, I asked it for 20 prompts for social media posts about why it's important to talk to your customers directly. So of those 20, I feel like probably only 7 are things that I would find usable, but that's 7 things I haven't had to put the work into thinking of myself. First drafts, get the AI tool to do your first draft and then rewrite it so that it sounds like you and is coming from your perspective. A good one is writing bios and profiles for social media. So I share an office with a commercial photographer who has the world's most boring, for somebody who takes beautiful photos, she has the world's most boring Instagram bio. So I typed in, create a compelling Instagram bio for a commercial photographer who specializes in food and portraits. And what it came up with had too many like flower icons that are not my friend at all, but is a good starting point. Another thing you can do is, my husband has just decided he needs to get serious on LinkedIn. So rather than have to face that bio section and start from scratch, I showed him how to type in, create a bio for a CIO in a provincial company. It was not right, but it was the bare bones of something that he could fix. So it doesn't have to just be around social media posts. It can be all the associated things as well. Rewrite old posts, and we'll come to an example of that in a little while. But if you've had a post that has done really well, has had really good engagement, plug it into your AI tool and ask it to rewrite it, or ask it to rewrite it in 5 different ways. You can rewrite old posts that have done really well to see if you can get that engagement again. Or potentially, I've had posts that have tanked on LinkedIn and I still think they're reasonably decent posts. Maybe I posted them at the wrong time. Maybe they're not as good as I thought. But put in a post that's tanked and ask ChatGPT to rewrite it and see what they come up with and give that a try. This, you could potentially not ever have to write any original content ever again. If you've got old blog posts and FAQ on your website, other website content like your about page or product descriptions or service descriptions, or what your process is, how you work. If you've got transcriptions of Zooms that you've done, if you run a podcast and have transcriptions or show notes. Actually, do you know what? Even sometimes when I send a client a detailed email, I have a special folder because I know that the stuff that I've written I can use again to send other emails to potential clients. Save emails where you're putting a lot of detail, plug them into ChatGPT, ask for them to be cut into, say, 5 different posts or 7 different posts, and see what you come up with. And you can use it for improving headlines and hooks. So where we saw in the example just before, where I asked it for alternative titles for this session, you can plug in a headline and ask it for 15 different variations of that particular headline. Or the hooks. The hook is the part right at the start of your post that you want to hook people in. You want them to stop scrolling and read your post all the way through. So you can post a draft social media post and ask ChatGPT to come up with better hooks. Just before we crack on, are there any questions about what I've said since the sound came back on? Put them in the chat if they are, and we'll come back if you have got any questions, and we'll come back to that shortly. So I'm just going to share with you 4 of the tools that I like. Well, 3 tools that I like using and one that might be of interest to you. So the one that probably we've all heard of, and it seemed like quite a few of you have used already, is ChatGPT. So that's the one that we know comes from Elon Musk's company and is like, as I said before, Google on steroids. You can ask it just about anything. I'm going to show you a couple of the tools, and then we'll go and look in further detail at them. So the next one after ChatGPT, that I love this one. This is really, I think it's better than ChatGPT for writing marketing materials, and it's called Rytr.me, RYTR.me, and it's a writing assistant. And I'll show you a little bit more on it soon, but you can ask it to come up with post and caption ideas, plug in a topic, tell them how many different versions you want, up here, and we'll see this more soon, but the type of tone that you want, give it a few seconds and it spits something pretty good out. Quillbot. Quillbot is a I use it for paraphrasing and summarizing. So if you want to say something differently, or if you've got a long post or a blog post and you want it to be summarized, paste it into Quillbot and see what comes out. It's much easier than having to sit and do it yourself. Just open that one, ready for the next thing. And then lastly, an image generator. I am in 2 minds about this. I have some ethical, I don't know whether they're objections, but things that I am mindful of when I'm thinking about using image AI generators, only in that essentially what they've done is taken all the images that they can find that other people have put their blood, sweat and tears potentially into posting online, and they're using information from those images to create something new. We'll have a look at this in a second, but just, see where your own conscience lies as to whether you use it or not. Something to be aware of if you do want to use any images for any AI generated images. My understanding is you don't actually own those images. You don't have the copyright. So there's potential, who knows what could potentially happen from that, but just something to be aware of. Last thing before we dive into looking at the tools is the stuff that comes out is generally reasonably boring, and I'm imagining that in real life, a very small percentage of you are boring, if you're boring at all. So you want to make sure that you sound like you and not AI generated text. So a couple of suggestions on how you can do that is be sure that you edit any text that you get so you sound more like you and less like a Wikipedia article about the Treaty of Utrecht from 1713. And if you don't know about the Treaty of Utrecht from 1713, I'm not surprised. It's possibly the most boring page on Wikipedia. Change the writing. So you're using conversational, I guess unless you're a lawyer, but you're using conversational, evocative language with rich details. And when I talk about rich details, the bullet point above, I originally had written, so you sound less boring. But by bringing out that Wikipedia article about the Treaty of Utrecht, hopefully that's a little bit stickier in your head, might make you smile, is a little bit more compelling than just the plain language. So if you're a funny person in real life, an enthusiastic person, a sincere person, a sarcastic person, make sure that what you're posting still sounds like you, sounds authentically like you. If you don't know how to do that, there's a couple of suggestions. Read the post to yourself, do it a couple of times, and then try to put it back in your own words without referring to it. Depending on how you work best, you can type that up, you can talk into your voice notes app and transcribe it from there, but just try and put things in your own words. Another really good tip is to read things aloud. You might sound like a dick doing that in the middle of your day, but if you can read things aloud, you'll figure out the things that aren't coming smoothly and naturally out of your mouth. It might be words that you'd never say or that don't sound like you, or phrases. So say it loudly, change what you need to say to make it sound like you, and take it from there. Okay, I see we've got some questions in the chat. Is it worth paying for the paid version of ChatGPT? Tony, that's entirely up to you, depending on what your needs are. I haven't felt the need to pay for it, but if you're finding that the free version isn't fulfilling your needs, then yeah, maybe that is worth considering. But I think, you know, it really depends on what you want to use it for and how often. Beth, which tool is best for product descriptions? We're going to have a look at Writer more closely, and I can show you that when we're in Writer in a minute or two. Great, thank you, Liala. And there's those links. So if we haven't got any more questions, let's just start looking at some of these. Oh, sorry, before we look at them, I've got some prompts that you might want to use. This is a big full slide, and if anybody wants a copy of them all, you can just email me at the end and I'll send it through. But just some ideas of what the type of things are that you can ask whichever AI writing tool you choose. So you could say, can you generate 25 Facebook posts for a florist? Well, actually, a florist sells flowers. 25 Facebook posts for an insurance company that sells life insurance. What are 15 ideas for LinkedIn posts that will get high engagement on the subject of, and then put your subject. So it could be, for example, the challenges of IT leadership in a corporate setting. Find 10 100-word posts from this content that would make excellent and distinctive social media posts for Instagram. And then this is where you paste in your blog post, your FAQs, your about page, whatever it is that you want to get content from. Just actually a limitation that I didn't mention in the earlier slides, but ChatGPT does have a character limitation. So I think it's nearly 5,000 characters, but if you post something longer than that, it won't work. A workaround for that is that ChatGPT remembers what you've done previously. So you can say you've got a blog post that you want to extract 20 social media posts ideas from. What you can do is say to ChatGPT, the following is part one of, put your blog post title. Please, there are 4 parts in total. Please remember the previous, please remember all 4 parts. So paste in the first, then paste in the second, obviously updating the numbers. And then at the end, you can say, considering parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 of your blog post title, please come up with 10 ideas for blog posts. Again, you can paste old content, but please use the following, please, I don't think we need to use manners, but who knows. Use the following content and rewrite it to the same approximate length in 5 new posts. I was talking about this to a client last week, and they were worried about saying the same thing over and over again. And if that's crossed your mind, I can absolutely understand why, but I can guarantee you will get tired of saying the same thing over and over and over again, well before anybody has noticed that you're saying the same thing over again. So 2 things, nobody pays that much attention to what you're doing as opposed to what they're doing. And there are studies that show it can take, depending on what studies you believe, anywhere from 7 to 20 times of you repeating a message before people understand, before that sinks in. So don't be scared to say the same thing over and over and over again, because that's how messages get through to people. We talked about this one already. Come up with 15 alternate headlines for, and put your headline in. Or supply 7 ideas for suitable, compelling hooks for the following social media posts, and paste in your post. Write a script for a 5-minute video about, for example, this would be one that I might use, the importance of talking to customers as part of a company's marketing strategy and listing the benefits, interview tips, and some key questions to ask. What are 8 things I could post about in the next few weeks to get more sales for my such and such business? Actually, this is one that I did put in ChatGPT. Write a post for LinkedIn capable of going viral about authenticity of voice in a world where anyone can use AI tools to write for them. It's important to stress originality and bringing your personality to your voice. Style should be sharp, smart, edgy, funny, and a little bit maverick. So if you remember earlier on where I posted that clip about the muffins and how having more detail leads to better results, so you can see that that is quite specific, and it can be useful for it to ask for a particular tone, but you'll know whether they've met the requirements of that tone. When I plugged that in, the tone was not what I would consider sharp, smart, edgy, funny, and a little bit maverick. It was actually a bit obnoxious, so unworkable. Or another example, write an Instagram bio for an online plant retail business selling rare and hard to find plants. Just going to quickly check the chat in case there was anything in there, any tool to automate tasks. There are tools that automate tasks, but not within the social media field.
Yeah, it's all good, Kathryn. I've answered that down there below, and I've answered the question below that as well.
Great, thank you. In that case, let's have a look at some of the tools. Just bring up Writer because I didn't have the link for that. So maybe just because of time constraints, we won't necessarily go into ChatGPT because it sounds like you've all used that one. So this is the one that I think this is way better than ChatGPT. This is the one, if you remember the example about flossing for dental hygiene. So over here, when you've logged in, and this is a free AI, there are premium versions, so there are some limitations on what you can do with this one, but just to give you a taste. So you can select the tone, and as you can see there, it's everything from assertive, awestruck, compassionate, formal, funny, joyful, urgent, worried. So maybe I'm determined to see that somewhere AI can be funny. Let's try for humorous. And this is, I think it was Liana or somebody was asking about product descriptions. So with Writer, You can see that I've defaulted here to post and caption ideas because we're talking about social media, but there's a broad range of things you can ask for help with: blog ideas and outline, even coming up with name ideas, business ideas, call to action, which can be quite useful. When you're on a website and you see a button that says learn more, like nobody really wants to learn more. You can plug in your details to get something that's more likely to make somebody click. You can write emails, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn ads. Actually, I should say you can draft them because you will want to tweak them. Job description can be good for getting keywords for SEO purposes for your website. Here's the product description and product description bullet point that was being asked about earlier. So this is definitely one to have a look at. Your profile bios, you can use it for more SEO. Song lyrics, that's not one I've tried yet, but I have seen other people. Actually, that's where one of the really sexist responses came in, so maybe we won't do that. Taglines, headlines, you can see there's a million, well, not quite a million, but there's a lot of different options that you can use. So say we want to do a post about the use of free AI tools for you can choose how many options they want you to give them, 1, 2, or 3, and creativity level. I had it set default at optimal because I don't know why you wouldn't want to be creative. It sounds to me like it might be a bit boring, but by all means play around. So we've filled in all those details, and it's going to take a second to come up with 3 variations of a post or caption idea. I do find they sometimes, well, not too bad here, sometimes they overuse the hashtag facility. But so you can see the first one: attention small business owners. Technology is here to help you make your presence more powerful on social media. With the use of powerful AI tools, you can now easily create captivating and engaging content for free. To me, that's dry and isn't in my voice, but there's enough there that I could use to rewrite. Say goodbye to long hours of manual editing. I really like that. To me, that's quite evocative and is talking to my clients' direct needs. Unlock your business's true potential. So that post there is a really easy thing to do some tweaking and to post on your own behalf. I won't read through all of them, but if anybody's brave, does anybody want to put it in the chat and we can come up, if you want to put a topic in the chat, we'll post something and see what it spits out.
Yep, we'll just give folks a moment to just type.
Sensory and educational play ideas for preschoolers. Great topic. I'm just going to cut. Oh, I can't cut and paste. Sensory. Okay, so because we're talking about preschoolers, let's be enthusiastic. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. There's no better way to nurture your little one's learning and development than through sensory and educational play. With brand name, your preschooler can explore the world of imagination, improve fine motor skills, and even practice problem solving with fun activities. Arouse their curiosity, etc., etc. The second one, my eyes caught by the creating slime to explore a nature scavenger hunt. So that's really quick. And Beth, if you want to email me after this, my email's in the next slide. I'm happy to cut and paste this and send it to you, or you can sign up yourself and give it a crack. What's another one? Copy for social media posts to launch a new delivered catered lunchbox. Let's try that. Mark, do you want to give me a tone while I'm typing? Let's go for convincing, because we want people to buy. Professional and humorous. Let's do, where are we? I'm going to stick with convincing. I hope you don't mind, but just because it'd be quite interesting to see. Oh, sorry. Oh, look at that. I've exhausted my monthly quota of credits. So I did quite a lot of prep for this session. I've used, oh, I see, it's around words, I think. So I've used 11,000 words out of a 10,000 word quota. So I'm sorry that I can't get a result about the lunchbox service, but it's enough to hopefully give you a feel for what you can do with Writer. I personally would find this one worth paying for. So we'll have a look at the paraphrasing tool. So this is Quillbot, and I did have a paraphrasing. I had something to cut and paste in there from a LinkedIn post. I paste text. Oh, there you go. So I did a post earlier this year, top 3 things I've told clients in 2022. Put your pricing up if you want people to believe that you offer a quality service. This is great advice for everybody. Center aligned text on websites looks nice, but is really hard to read, and you need a strategy. So let's see. This is the free version of Quillbot. So I can have standard or fluent, but the paid, if I want it formal, simple, creative, if I want to expand or shorten it, then I need to pay for that. So if we click on fluency, and you can see right there that it's color-coded, it's changed the words. Sometimes when you do this, like I used this example when I was testing this earlier this morning, and to me the word strategy is really important down on the bottom where I said you need a strategy, and it changed it to you need a clear plan, which for me there's a difference between those two, so it didn't work for me. But again, it's quite a good way of being able to write things differently. I'm really conscious of the time, so I just want to quickly also show you an AI art generator. So this one's called Hotpot, and I think Anamari put the link in the chat. But what should AI draw? What about just on the preschool theme, preschoolers having fun playing with sand? And if you click down here, there are, as you can see, a bunch of different styles that you can choose from. I'm going to go with the most colourful one that struck my eye straight away. I don't even know what that toggle means, to be honest. I should come clean, but I'm going to create. And so this one, you get a free daily limit of 5 images that you can create for free, or you can buy if you want more. This one takes a little bit longer than the writing, but hopefully we will soon see an image of preschoolers having fun playing with sand. Yesterday I did a rabbit wearing glasses on a phone. Don't know if I think they look like preschoolers, but you can see how quickly and easily you can generate images. But as I said earlier, I don't believe that you own the right to these images. That would need more careful research, but something to look out for. So any final questions? And just before I get into that, I've put my details down there. Love to connect on LinkedIn. If you're on there, send me an email or check out my website. I do have feel like I've got an angel and a devil on my shoulder. So this session has been all about how to use AI for social media marketing. And I have another resource that's how to market your business without resorting to social media. So if that's of any interest, if you want to flick me an email, I'll be happy to send that on. So I'll just, I saw somebody put DALL-E as another photo generator. That's a good one as well.
And Night Cafe also is one, I think.
Oh, okay. I've not heard of that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you get like, I'm pretty sure it's called Night Cafe. I'll grab it really quick, actually, because we were having a play around with that. Or it's something like that. Yeah, Night Cafe AI. Yeah, there's always going to be a bunch, and some of them are going to be free and some of them are not going to be free. You generally will have to sign up for all of them regardless. And I think you can do a lot with free, to be honest. There's a lot of tools, like even somebody was asking about, an automation tool, Zapier, you can use for that. And it's you get a certain amount of zaps for free. And so, like there's no need, don't pay for things that you don't have to. Keep your budget, like worry about your budget and keep it under wraps. So no, this has been so cool. I love that writer. That writer tool is really cool. I like it more than, I'm just going to quietly say I like it more than ChatGPT, just because, like it just seemed like you could really hone in on what you wanted. It seemed really concise, and it just was really good. Yeah.
Anamari, you just gave me a great, talking about don't need to spend money that you don't have to. One way that you could use these tools and maximize what you get from it without having to spend money is to, and again, make it quite detailed, but type in, create a content plan and describe your business, the type of tone you want, even maybe your target market. So it'll spit out a content plan for you with, I'm imagining 7 to 8 bullet points. Use those 7 to 8 bullet points. Again, make sure you put in enough detail, but then say, write me 25 blog posts on each of the things that they've told you to use for your content plan. And, if you've got a limited number of credits you can use, but you may have 100 ideas.
Yeah. And you can always, it looks like that when you get a certain amount of months. So you could limit the word count so that you stay under and you just keep those ideas for the next month. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to do it all in at the same time, like space it out a little bit. If you want to stick with the free, work with the algorithm or the parameters of what is free. And yeah, there's a lot of free tools out there, and they're just going to keep getting better, to be honest. Like this is the beginning of it all. But I loved what you said there, is that it's not the end all. It's not, you don't just like cut and paste and pop it on there. Like make it yours, put your authentic self in it. That's what people are buying. They're buying you essentially, not as a human being, but as a, you know what I mean? Like they want to know your story. They want to know who you are. They want to know your voice, your tone of voice, and no AI is going to be able to produce that,
Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been a wonderful session. I'm so glad that we stuck with it. We got there. We got that volume happening. We got so much value out of this. It was so, so great. So all of those links are in the chat, folks. So you can just actually click on those and it'll open up in your browser. I'll be giving them to the support team just so that if you do lose them or something, like can't figure out what they are and you don't want to watch the video again, just contact support. We'll give them to you. Connect with Kathryn on LinkedIn. I think that'd be a great way for you to see how she does her marketing through LinkedIn as well. Like I really like following folks that know what they're doing. It always gives you a good idea. Obviously, you're giving out a lot of tips on there as well, which is good, which is good. So, you might just learn a thing or two from following her on that story. A lot of great feedback. Thank you for your presentation today. I'm looking forward to advancing my skills, knowledge in the AI space and minimizing my thinking procrastination time. I think that's it, isn't it? The procrastination time, when you start to feel like it's daunting to post, then you go, oh, I'm not going to do anything, yeah, just lots of rocky start, but content valuable. Thank you. Look, that was real. And I think that is a great reminder to us all that persistence pays. And patience pays as well, because that is a small business bread and butter right there. This session has been super helpful. Thank you, Kathryn. Wonderful. Thank you, Kathryn and Anamari. You're very welcome. Thanks, guys. And thanks for all the real positive feedback. It's really lovely to give that to our providers and suppliers that come on here and help educate us so that we can grow our businesses to the span, however big we want to. So we'll let you guys all go now. We'll let Kathryn go now. She probably has a busy schedule. We'll see you on LinkedIn. You can find me there as well. And we'll tune in on Thursday for our workshop. If you are you're watching cheekily on our social media, you will miss out on the workshop. I'm trying to figure out what it is cheekily here. Time management for busy professionals. So this ties perfectly in with Kathryn's session. So join us on Thursday for the workshop. Get yourself organized so then you can really maximize with the combination of these AI tools and your time management plan. You'll be able to put it all together. Yeah. See you guys next time. Kakite. Thank you, Kathryn.